Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Art of Awakening. My name is Ona, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 2022 portal coming up here, and just a little bit about the energies of this time, as well as some things that we might want to consider working with to assist in making the most of this amazing portal. So before we get started, if you haven't yet watched my February energies video, you might want to watch that first, because that really goes more in depth about this whole portal time between the February 2nd and February 22nd in 2022. It'll give you a little bit deeper understanding of this in context, all these energies that are going on. So in this video, I'm really going to be elaborating on some of the points of that other video. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that first and then come back. Okay, so like in that other video, I'm going to just briefly explain that there's some number of things going on with the number two. Number two, amongst other things, it's a number of partnership for one, and it's also a master builder number. And when we hit that 2 2, that was 5 twos, 2022, and that really speaks to change. So in this video, I'm going to be talking somewhat about change and the change that's happening, and how to be an agent of change. And then moving into the 222, there we have 6 twos, and so there's this resonant number of 6 that's coming forward, and 6 is really a number of harmony, and I think of it as a number of the heart. And that's another really important thing that's going on here. So change and the heart. Okay, so these are the two big keywords for this portal. And at the time that I did the other video, I wasn't feeling, it was starting to dawn on me, but now I'm really feeling it. This is an incredibly powerful portal. This is feeling like a really big timeline shift for the collective, and probably for each of us individually. This is a big deal, okay? And so one of the things that I did was I went in and asked my Akashic guides just to clarify the energies here of the 222. And then the first thing that they showed me was they showed me this image, like a really long kind of wall, like a brown, it looked to me like a mud and wattle wall. It was kind of brown and about maybe 8 feet tall, and just kind of going right through my mind. And so then I asked about it. They said, well, there's a barrier of consciousness that's installed in your brain. Okay, so they're talking about an implant, and this is talking to me personally. But I kind of feel like there's this sort of barrier that is a collective. If you might want to check out my latest video, which is the law of correspondence. So as above, so below. What happens is, in our own psyches is somewhere reflected in the collective. So I'm just going to relay this for, if it doesn't resonate with you, just leave it. But if it does, hopefully, you might get something out of it. So they told me that there's this barrier. They showed me this wall, and they said it's a mind barrier, okay, that is designed to keep your conscious mind from knowing certain things, and especially from communicating with certain frequency beings, okay? So we all have helper beings out there. So this barrier prevents you from reaching those frequencies, right? And it's designed to disable you. This is okay, so they're saying it's an artificial thing, right? It's not natural, and it's been intentionally installed, and it's a mind trap. Okay, so I just want to just say a couple things. There's a lot of ideas out there in the new age about kind of entities that are intentionally disrupting humanity and so forth, and I am not going to comment on any of that, whether it's true or not. But again, there's that correspondence, as within so without, right? So whether we are actually dealing with entities or if it's all in our mind, it doesn't really matter as far as I'm concerned, because if it's actual physical whatever entities out there, it's because we're calling them in, right? We're at that level. So to me, it's like you do the inner work, and then the outer work, the outer world shifts to accommodate. Okay, so I asked, how can I get rid of this barrier? I didn't just get rid of this wall. I'm ready to get rid of it. It says, well, you can cease to believe in it, right? There's so much around beliefs and limiting beliefs that if you just, believe in things like this, then then you're subject to them. They also said you can ask for mercy, ask to be assisted in its removal. You can ask to be shown through it, to see through it, to basically cancel it, right? So this would be the positive side of cancel culture. Any of these mind barriers or whatever in our minds, we can say, hey, I see you and you're gone. Right? So they're telling me it's not a legitimate structure. And so what I'd like to do is just, if you can visualize with me for a moment and think, go within to your mind and feel in there and just visualize this wall, this barrier in your mind that is preventing you from accessing the higher wisdom, any helper beings that you may have, anything that is obstructing your path forward, your inner sight, your inner hearing, anything like that. Visualize this. I'm seeing it as this wall that's kind of made of mud and sticks. And if you can just imagine this wall and imagine the sun coming up and really beating down on that wall. And you know how mud flakes sometimes when the sun beats it. Imagine the sun really beating down and this wall beginning to kind of flake away. And then this beautiful, blessed, sacred rain beginning to fall from the heavens. And you can see this wall beginning to dissolve and the mud flowing off of it and just revealing the structure of the sticks underneath, and allow that rain, that beautiful rain, to just flood over this wall and send all that earth and dirt back to Mother Earth where it belongs. And then really you can see the structure, but you can see through the wall now. You can start seeing what's on the other side and hearing what's on the other side. And then call in the winds. Call in the dragons, the four dragons of the directions, and allow them to just blow their fiery breath, fire and air, right through this structure and see it all bursting into flames. All right, and there we are. There's a clearing. You can come back to it anytime, but just be aware that these barriers, these mind barriers, whether it's in your own psyche, whether it's in the psyche of humanity, they are dissolving. The energies of this portal right now are here to assist in dissolving those energies. Okay, and when I asked actually how that barrier got there, they said you agreed to it thinking it was a necessary exercise. And I asked who put it there, and they said you did. Right? It says ultimately it all comes down to you. You have free will. You are the ultimate creator of your reality. And the last thing they said was take responsibility for this, and you will begin to realize your true power. Okay, so the freedom always goes hand in hand with responsibility. And when we start to really take responsibility for everything that's happening in our own lives, and I know we are co-creating, so it's like we are dealing with what's out there and the other people and so forth. This is a co-creation, right? But within that co-creation, when we start stepping up and saying, hey, I'm responsible for this, I take personal responsibility for what's happening on the planet. And this is not narcissistic responsibility. This is not like, oh, I take it all upon myself and I'm, whatever, right? This is just like a taking up responsibility in that I see that there are things out there that don't align with beauty and that don't align with joy. And it is my responsibility to do everything that I can within my own power, in my own life, to bring in more joy and to bring in more abundance, right? To align myself with the powers of life, right? And whatever that looks like for you, you can't like do all the ocean cleanup on your own, whatever. but wherever you're feeling called to go, and that's part of like dissolving this wall, is really opening to listen to that guidance, right? And to see the signs of, oh, that's the next step, that's the next step, and you can feel the joy. Follow the joy, follow your bliss, right? Because that's where it comes down to. Then I asked again just recently, because this was a couple weeks ago that they did these other ones, but I just asked today, to again, please clarify the energies of 2222. And I was given this a symbol here, right? Of these kind of these 6 rays radiating out. And the more I looked at that symbol, and really it was just, whoop, that one there, I kept seeing, like, superimposed over it, I kept seeing this Star of David, the Merkaba energy. And I realized that, okay, well, it's the Merkaba and the directions, right? The medicine wheel. And they just kind of showed me that the Merkaba and the medicine wheel are basically so related. Okay, so the Merkaba is this geometrical model of your ascension vehicle. And of course, the directions, the medicine wheel centers you and it grounds you and it puts you in place in the universe, right? So what is coming to me with this is just the importance of being in the world, right? There's that old saying, to be in the world but not of it, and this is what it comes down to. But it's really easy to lose ourselves in this, even sometimes in the spirituality, right? In the we can sit there and meditate, and for some people are really called to do that. Remember that law of correspondence, that as in the mind, so in the body. So you may be called to, like, there are times where it's important to just sit and meditate, and that will shift things in amazing ways. Like, the power of prayer is incredible. But I'm also getting right now that there's a huge opportunity open right now for boots on the ground, actual physical reality change to happen. This is a lot about what this portal is about. And so it's talking about, really going forward and being in the world, right? Making physical changes in the world, or, whatever it is, whether it's through business, whether it's through, gardening or whatever. And probably in a couple of days, I may share something that I'm being called to do that is very physical. It's actually, I'll give you a hint, it's food forest. I'm going to be going to food forest production and planting, and I will tell you more about that later. But whatever it is you're called to do, feel into what brings you joy and what is, like, physical in the world that brings you joy. We're all being distracted all the time by things wanting to take us away from being embodied, right? This is about embodiment. This portal is so fully about embodiment. It's about bringing spirit down into the body, onto the earth. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then one more transmission that I want to share with you. This is from today. There is a great desire in the heart of mankind to return to truth. We feel your weariness. It is only when one gets weary that one will consent to releasing one's burdens. When you set aside your burdens, what awaits you? The opportunity to take up that which brings you joy. When you carry your fair share on wings of joy, the winds of the universe conspire to uplift you. When you carry your fair share, it means, like, we all have, like, things that we need to do, whether it's cleaning toilets or whatever it is, right? Being in joy doesn't mean that you're never doing anything that is not on your top priority list of things that you want to be doing. Or sometimes it is. Sometimes it's like we don't allow ourselves to really be in our bliss, right? So allowing yourself the time and the space to do the work that brings you joy, allowing yourself also to do the necessary work in a spirit of service, right? In a spirit of joy, that just allows the universe will start to really support you when you maintain that resonance of joy. Okay. Um, and then finally, I think I mentioned that other video about the shift from um, this dynamic between Aquarius and Pisces, right? And so this whole kind of portal season opened with the 2-2, the February 2nd, that's square on in the sign of Aquarius. Of course, we are stepping into the Aquarian age. So this is very, very Aquarian energy. 222 comes right around that cusp time of Aquarius to Pisces. And so there's a lot of Piscean energy in this portal right now. Okay. And Piscean energy, as I mentioned in the other video, it can really, when it goes negative, it can be a lot about addictions and stuff. So there may be a lot of releasing of addictive things, a releasing of attachments. Pisces is very empathic. Okay. So we have this kind of energy of tuning into people, and you hear so many times people saying, especially star seeds and light workers, were like, oh, I'm an empath and I can't be in crowds, right? And I can't, it's hard on me sometimes. And yeah, if you're a natural empath, you can feel that all those energies of those other people. And I'm a natural empath too, so I get it. I totally get it. And I have days where it's like you can feel it. It's like walking through Walmart and all the kids screaming. It's like, ugh, right? But I kind of want to bring forward the other side of this and just kind of speak to that a little bit, because as we work with ourselves, as we work with boundaries, especially work with our personal spiritual protection, and work with expanding the heart. Okay, it's all about the heart, because this Piscean energy and this empathic energy is really related to your heart chakra. The heart has the biggest energy field ever, right? And so when we really start working with that energy of the heart, we become like a sun, right? We begin to radiate. And I just want to kind of bring up that real empathy is an understanding, right? It's a connection and understanding, and it is a seeing the light in the other person and recognizing it as the same as the light in you, right? The namaste energy. That is true empathy. It's not this attachment. It's not this drain that you may feel. Okay. That's the negative spinning side of empathy, but it's really just attachment. Okay. And so if you are starting to feel that, really important to do the clear cutting. But we can all start working on the positive side of empathy, which is that heart to heart connection. And that's what's coming forward as being a really crucial thing to focus on during this portal, is understanding the commonalities between every one of us, right? We are all human beings. We all have the spark of the creator within us. And as you move forward, right now the world is so polarized, and it's so easy to fall into that. I fall into it all the time, right? This whole polarization thing. And so when you notice yourself being judgmental about maybe somebody else or what's going on out there, yes, we need to be very discerning, right? And really feel into our truth. Study natural law. I have a whole playlist on natural law, that I'll be doing videos more and more on that. So it's important to be discerning, but not judgmental, because when we fall into judgment, that is that polarizing energy. Because part of what this whole thing is, this whole portal is moving back into the heart. Okay, and I'm feeling like this is a portal for the energies of this year ahead of 2022. Remember, 2022, that adds up to 6. It is a 6 year. It's a year that can be a beautiful year of the heart opening, of deeper connection. Okay, so I'm gonna just leave you with a couple of quotes from our Buckminster Fuller, who was this amazing visionary. He was the creator of the geodesic domes and so many other things. But he was an amazing starseed individual. And the first one I posted on my community tab not long ago, he says, "You can never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete." And that is what this portal is really going to be supporting. We're going to start seeing all sorts of infrastructure like food forests and other things really starting to proliferate and grow. We're going to start seeing actual physical uh, manifestations of abundance that are from like this 5D new earth energy. The new earth is really going to start to build and grow this year, and especially this portal opening up for that. Okay, and then my angels tell me, they've been telling me a long time, this can happen very quickly. But there's another quote by Buckminster Fuller here that I just want to leave you with. He says, "There is nothing in a caterpillar that tells you it's going to be a butterfly." And so be just open-minded, just open yourself to miracles, because they're just hold on your seats. There's going to be amazing things happening in this year ahead, in the years ahead. There's nothing in a caterpillar that tells you it's going to be a butterfly. And what there's a lot of caterpillar energy out there right now that is that is about to, sometime, we don't know exactly when, but it's going to start exploding, probably here, there, in different places in the world. Um, and it's just going to be amazing. So, with that, I'm going to leave you. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. And we'll catch you again soon. Remember, you were born to be free.